Hi, folks. We are joined by Nicki Richon Schoel. She is a mental health counselor and also a co-chair for the Gloucester Coalition for the Prevention of Domestic Abuse and the former KPM program director for HAWK, which is Healing Abuse, Working for Change. Thanks for joining us, Nicki.
Yes, you're welcome. It's nice to be here.
Hi, Nicki. I just want to, we want to talk to you about a really tough subject, but it's an important one. Unfortunately, for so many people who are in quarantine right now, being home with either a partner or even family is not safe. Could you talk to us about this really tough issue?
Yeah, I think, given that domestic violence victims and survivors are not safe at home, this terrifying reality and situation because of the virus, now they're not safe at home and not safe away from home. So I would like to, just take a few minutes to reassure those who might be watching that there are still some safety availability for them. So part of the issue with domestic violence, a big part of it is around the issue of power and control. And all of us are now feeling a little bit out of control because our lives have turned upside down. And for an abuser to experience that, there's a strong possibility that there'll be an escalation in abusive behavior. And the other big part of what's happening, I think, is the isolation factor, because abusers also tend to isolate their victims. And now we're all supposed to be isolating. So it's an especially difficult time for people in that situation. So I did have a talk with the Chief Conley and the domestic violence officer, Ron Piscatello. And they reassured me that every service is in place, that police officers, dispatchers are responding with hotline numbers, and also HAWK reassured me that all of their services are in place remotely. So every one of their area offices, and they serve 23 cities and towns, there are advocates available to talk to victims and survivors. There's a whole potential list of things that could happen. And children are also at risk, and elders and partners. So I want to share the HAWK hotline with you, and I'm hoping you will also show it, but it is 800-547-1649. And that number will be answered by a trained advocate. I realize it's also difficult to find a place to make a hotline call if you need help. I've received a few calls from people in cars. So that's one possibility if you can get to your car. And in terms of safety, we really want to emphasize kind of upgrading and making your personalized safety plan a little more rigorous during this especially challenged time. So a couple of things you can do is to keep your wallet or whatever has your essential documentation in it, and money and car keys somewhere that you can access as quickly and easily as possible. And also not to be confrontive. This is a tricky one, but not to be challenging or confrontive. It's almost like be the smarter one. If you can de-escalate abusive behavior, go for a walk, go outside, structure time with your children. Don't go into rooms from which you cannot easily escape. Don't go into rooms where there are any weapons or tools. Those are a few of the things, but I do want to emphasize that both HAWK and the police were very reassuring that if you need shelter, if you need immediate assistance, if you need an emergency protective order, or if your protective order, your restraining order, is about to expire, they will assist you on the phone and help you get through the process that you need to get to. And there are also on-call judges that will help.
Because the court system has been closed down too, right?
Correct. But you can talk to an on-call judge on the phone.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
And about texting, is it possible to text either the police or this hotline?
That's a really good question. That would be an excellent thing to put in place, actually.
Yeah.
I'm going to find out about that. I'm going
Okay.
to check it out. Yeah.
We'll update people with that. And I assume that an important part of this piece would be friends, supportive friends, and people who may know what's going on, and maybe they could help.
Yes, I was about to mention that. Thank you. Yeah, if by any chance you have a neighbor or a friend or family member, you can develop a code of some kind. You can text 727, or you can turn your light on a couple of times if it's a neighbor. But it's good to have that set up ahead of time. So it's still possible to do that for certain. Yes, that's a very good thing to do.
Right. Well, anything else that we should share with the public? And I'm hoping the public shares this message, this video, far and wide, so
Yes.
it really gets spread out there and people.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess, the only other thing is that I would just urge people to call the hotline. Even, check in on your friends and family, check in on anybody you think might be at risk of domestic violence, and urge them to call the hotline, because there will be somebody there 24/7 to help you. And in my long experience in this work, I know very much, I'm very familiar with the courage and resilience of victims and survivors. So I would say that, we are here to help you.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
That's great. So once again, that number for the Hawk Hotline is 800-547-1649.
That's it.
Nicki Richon Schoel, thanks so much for spending time with us, and we hope to talk to you soon. Be well.
Thanks very much. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.